Hello, good evening, and welcome to another wonderful edition of Eye on Port. The program is proudly brought to you by the Ports and Harbours Authority, the Revenue Authority of this country, also the nation's indigenous oil marketing company of the year. It is the #1 oil marketing company of the year in this country, as a matter of fact. Goil Company Limited. Serene Insurance is also a proud sponsor of this program. We are going to discuss a very important subject today. We're going to talk about piracy within the Gulf of Guinea. We're going to analyze a particular report and a very disturbing trend that's been published by CEMLAWS. That's a Center for Maritime Law and Security. We will be delving deeper into their report and look at what we can do as a country when it comes to this particular area of piracy that's creeping into the fiber of the industry within the Gulf of Guinea. We're just not going to look at the country. We also look at how it's affecting other countries. And when it's affecting other countries, don't think that because it's not happening in Ghana, you are not bothered. Some way, somehow, you'll be hit by it. And today I got the information from somebody who says, anytime I watch the international news and I see piracy with my family, we all begin to shiver because I have brothers who are sailors and they go beyond the shores of this country. So when you hear attacks by pirates, you get worried. Beyond that, your cargo is on the vessel. If it's attacked by pirates, you'll definitely be worried. We'll be delving into this subject immensely. If you are interested, if you're a business person, a legal person, a security person, or within the maritime and transport industry, you ought to pay attention to this particular discourse that we're going to have with the expert who's already seated in the studio. The Business and Financial Times is a proud sponsor of this program, and I have to say hello to the CEO. She never misses the program, Madam Edith. Always a pleasure to have you watch the program. We appreciate your feedback. So if you get a copy of the Thursday edition of the Business and Financial Times, you should read virtually everything that happens on this platform, as well as the schedules of the vessels that are bringing your cargo into the country. And you should also get a copy of that paper and read more, because they go beyond even the maritime industry. The abridged version of the program is aired on GH1 tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. And then another edition is aired on Ghana Television at 8:30 p.m., an abridged version. So you can make a day to watch all of that. We'll return pretty shortly, and the subject will be next.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Yeah, you said? Yes, they're kicking up the two trio. They're still under.
Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Oh, how are you?
Hi Yvonne, a few words please. Everyone is talking about the fire at your production house last week. How are you holding up? Has production stalled?
No, not at all. My crew and everyone on my set is perfectly fine. because I insure with Serene Insurance. As a matter of fact, I've had all my equipment replaced, including the vehicles that were affected. My workers have been sorted out. Even my production downtime has been covered. So it's all good. I have a meeting to attend to, so I have to get going. Sorry about that.
Which insurance company did you mention?
Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance, a member of First Sky Group.
Sa coronavirus yare no yare a sign pa. So obi yebi na se opowa gu so ana se ohwinti gu so a utumi yare ni bi.
Okadi ni bahani onaka oyehila ekoji. Ohe banye do. Oba wulo. Ogo bahunu. Oba chine. O jamba wohe. Oba na sen kaka. Mekme musunchon. Mekme nu ni enihe. Coronavirus
infection, the symptoms can range from mild, one of it being asymptomatic. Asymptomatic just means that you may not have any symptoms at all, and the disease process can gradually worsen to be a severe form, the severest being ultimately death. We are expected to sanitize our hands when our hands are not visibly soiled or you can't really see dirt on your hands. If you can see dirt on your hands, the best thing to do is to wash your hands with soap and the running water.
If you're using any of the cloth face masks, always make sure you have a rubber bag ready to receive it when you remove it, or you have a bowl of warm soapy water in which you can place the mask and wash. Wash your mask, dry in the hot sun for at least 5 hours, and apply heat by way of ironing.
Utiliser les ports de Tema et de Takoradi, c'est avoir un traitement rapide et sécurisé de vos marchandises diverses en conteneurs, en sac ou en vrac, ainsi que tous vos véhicules en transit. Le Ghana a construit un parking bien pavé pour tous les véhicules en transit. Une nouvelle gare frigorifique pour le stockage de la marchandise congelée en transit. Avec un nouveau centre de traitement de données construit et la mise en œuvre efficace d'un guichet unique national qui permet aux données d'être accessibles par tous les intervenants, le traitement des dossiers dans les ports du Ghana est maintenant efficace et plus efficient. Utiliser les ports du Ghana, c'est profiter des systèmes de portes électroniques et d'exploitation des terminaux ainsi que de la réservation des navires en ligne, entraînant ainsi un parc de camions fiable pour un acheminement de vos marchandises dans les brefs délais avec un suivi satellitaire jusqu'à nos frontières.
Les femmes, à vous les honneurs.
Les ports de Tema et de Takoradi célèbrent la femme. Que les bienfaits de cette célébration apportent plus de bénédictions.
Okay, welcome back to the program. It's Eye on Port, and this week we're focusing on piracy, a very, very important subject because we are getting disturbing trends, and it's coming from a very important international institution on the continent, Africa. And it's important that we begin to look at this before we get hit by it, because this country, our trump card is the security that we have. And so if we're getting disturbing trends, it's important to begin to digest. And we are going to digest or do that on this program today. Very important assignment happened in the course of the previous week, and that is the Vice President, His Excellency Dr. Bawumia, also commissioned the new liquid bulk jetty at the TAKORADI port. A very important assignment there. He also cut sword for another important project. You recall that last week we had extensive discourse on the projects and facilities that are emerging at the port of TAKORADI. Let's take a listen.
The Vice President of the Republic, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has commissioned a new liquid bulk terminal at the port of TAKORADI, which will be responsible for receiving bulk liquid cargo such as petrol, diesel, LPG, heavy fuel, and bitumen. The new state-of-the-art liquid bulk terminal, which cost about $56.7 million, was built and would be operated and managed by Marshall Oil and Gas Services, a subsidiary of the Ibesta Group of companies who are playing a major role in infrastructural developments at the port of TAKORADI. It consists of a negative 14 meters chart datum, 5 loading arms for the various petroleum products, which are petrol, diesel, LPG, heavy fuel, and bitumen. It has a berthing capacity to handle vessels up to 60,000 tons of petroleum cargo. The chairman of the Ibesta Group, Kwame Jan, expressed gratitude to the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and its local financial partners for the faith shown in the indigenous business entity towards contributing to Ghana's port infrastructural development.
ABISTEC is also very grateful to the management and staff of GPHA for their tremendous support and collaboration. Minus GPHA, there will not be any ABISTEC involvement in the port of TAKORADI.
The chairman of the board of directors of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Peter McMenu, said the terminal is positioned to meet more than 50% of Ghana's domestic petroleum consumption, and it will also bring about many employment avenues.
The terminal is expected to employ a regular 100 import specialist personnel and more than 500 indirect persons to operate the facility.
The Minister of Transport, Kweku Ofori-Esiama, said government's resilience to support ABISTEC to develop its various infrastructural development at the port of TAKORADI is a demonstration of the commitment to boosting the capacity of Ghanaian private sector in meeting capital-intensive industrialization objectives.
Mr. Vice President, we have made significant progress toward the provision of necessary facilities to meet the demands of our oil and gas industry, increase commercial trade, and also to improve the competitiveness of the port to other neighboring countries.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, stated that the liquid bulk terminal project ties in with government's vision towards ensuring efficiency in the country's port operations, which will go a long way to position the country as a major petroleum hub in the sub-region.
But when you look at the project, what they are doing in the context of the expansion of the TAKORADI port that Ghana wants to see happen, then making this TAKORADI port a major petroleum hub in the sub-region.
He commended the ABISTEC group for a timely delivery of the project, which he has taken particular interest in due to the vision the ABISTEC group presented to the presidency.
They explained what they were trying to do. These were Ghanaian businessmen and entrepreneurs, had a very big dream of this major infrastructure investment. We looked at it, and it was something that was, for me, very, very necessary and very feasible.
In a related development, the Vice President, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, has also cut short for the Phase 2 of the dry bulk terminal at the port of TAKORADI. The dry bulk terminal would be responsible for handling increased volumes of bauxite, manganese, clinker, gypsum, limestone, and other many varieties of bulk cargoes significant to everyday domestic and industrial use. The already completed new dry bulk jetty of 800-meter quay wall with draft of -16 meters chart datum, which is now being used at the port of TAKORADI, is the deepest bulk jetty in the whole of West Africa. To fully enhance the efficiency of cargo handling at the dry bulk terminal, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has contracted Amandi Investment Limited for the Phase 2 of the dry bulk terminal at a cost of $70 million, which would comprise the installation of a complete set of conveyor system, a loading arm for the export berth, full terminal pavement, utility services, terminal operations control office, among others. According to the chairman of the board of directors of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Peter McMenu, the terminal has the capacity to handle about 80 million metric tons of cargo per annum, and work is expected to be completed by second quarter of 2022. The GPHA board chairman said the terminal would bring about a multiplicity of employment opportunities as well as advance Ghana's industrialization goals.
And terminal operations will employ not less than 150 persons on direct terminal roles and not less than another 1,000 indirect employment opportunities.
The Minister of Transport, Kweku Ofori-Esiama, said such investments will play a key role in Ghana's drive to reach world markets more efficiently, as well as strengthen global integration.
I believe it is not out of place to say that seaport or maritime transport is essential for reaching world markets, strengthening global integration, and attracting investment. For this very reason, The need to create a conducive environment for investment has been a key part of government program for this sector.
The Western Regional Minister, COMMENCEMENT, praised government on behalf of the people of the Western region for the commitment to developing that section of the country in its industrial agenda.
The road construction project going on in various districts in the region, coastal protection and development, railway development, education, infrastructure being constructed in the region is unmatched and therefore worthy of commendation. We say we are grateful.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, said the initiative to advance infrastructure development at the port of TAKORADI would significantly complement Ghana's integrated bauxite and aluminium project being embarked on by government.
You know that we are already working on the Western Line in terms of railway. Joe Garte is making sure of that. You know that we're working on the mining side, and you needed a port also that was catering to this industry. And so everything seemed to fit together.
He said it is no secret that without such advancement in port infrastructure, there would be little trade and the country could lose revenues.
Our ports provide a platform for revenue mobilization through customs duties and taxes, and provides employment opportunities to several Ghanaians. Our ports also contribute to the development of commercial activities in our neighboring landlocked countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger.
Okay, so that was the assignment that happened, very, very important assignment that happened at the port of TAKORADI, led by the Vice President. The Minister of Transport, Honorable Kuku Ofori-Esiama, led a delegation, inspected some of the fish landing sites that you have heard a lot about. About 11 of them initially were supposed to be built around the coastal areas. We had one Western region, we had one, some of them Central region, we had some of them also in the Volta region. The minister has announced another one. Let's take a listen to that particular one in this report. It's also coming from the Central region.
Transport, Kuku Ofori-Esiama, has led a delegation comprising the acting chief director of the Ministry of Transport and the Ministerial Advisory Board, Mabel Sego, officials from the Ministry of Transport, as well as the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, to inspect current works at 3 fishing landing sites in Axim, Winneba, and Senyabreku, which are part of the initial 11 coastal areas designated by government to be transformed into modern fishing ports and landing sites in Ghana. Following the announcement of a Konfi OTUAM by the government as part of the sites designated for the project, the number of coastal areas expected to have a modernized and well-equipped fishing landing sites now comes 12 in number, with Axim and Diskov in the Western region, OTUAM, Mori, Mumford, Winneba, Senyabreku, Gumuafete, and Elmina in the Central region, Teshi and Jamestown in the Greater Accra region, and Keta in the Volta region. During the visit to the 3 fishing landing sites in Axim, Winneba, and Senyabreku, the Minister of Transport, Kweku Ofori-Esiama, took the opportunity to address some concerns of the fishing community at the various sites of construction and assure them of a timely completion of the projects.
We need to build this platform so that you can depend on it and build a breakwater. We get a very key role.
The minister also presented an award to the China Harbour Engineering Company, the contractors of the project, for completing 500,000 man-hours without any injuries on the project so far.
As much as we are trying to seek speed, we are not compromising on safety, and for me that is very significant.
Already, work is progressing steadily at all the locations where construction has commenced, including Elmina, where the president recently cut sword for that project. As of August 2020, the completion stages of the various fishing ports and landing sites were as follows: Axim 42.01%, Diskov 38.23%, Mori 37.52%, Mumford 38.57%, Winneba 8.88%, Senya 90.69%, Gumuafete 69.82%, Teshi 38.32%, and Keta 5.25%. The The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is supervising the construction of all 12 fishing ports and landing sites projects as the nation's agency responsible for building, managing, and operating all ports and port-related infrastructure in Ghana. The Minister of Transport, Kweku Furiyesiama, has on Wednesday, 16th September 2020, announced the construction of an additional fishing port and landing site in OTUAM in the Ekumfi district of the central region of Ghana. According to the Transport Minister, funds have already been made available for the Ekumfi OTUAM fishing port and landing site, and construction is expected to commence in September 2020.
I'm the Minister for Transport. Kamrawa. Obia kamezi sikani edai enti yewie wo ya na mo dia asase ne maya acha na otwemienu ombeba kromo hanumo no ma bestati adwuma no.
The Minister of Transport, Kweku Furiyesiama, who was accompanied by the Member of Parliament for Ekumfi constituency and Deputy Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Kingsley Francis Atukujo, the Acting Chief Director at the Ministry of Transport, Mabel Sego, engineers and consultants of China Harbour Engineering Company, engineers and officials from the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and the Ministry of Transport revealed that the project will comprise of a breakwater, a fish market, a net mending hall, a fuel station, an ice-making plant, and a daycare center for children.
The bare breakwater, number one, breakwater. I don't know the port, Shemano Hubang. Yeah. Yeah, fish market, true. Fish market, true. Net mending hall. Aduma ebelo. Dem pese ebeye. Ne ye ma amunum ko so mu koton enam. Omu ko aduma omu na ba bi enkojo omu nan. Nti ebesi modern toilet facility. Toilet facility.
Taking his turn to address the chiefs and people of Ekumfi OTUAM, the Member of Parliament for Ekumfi constituency and Deputy Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Kingsley Francis Atukujo, expressed gratitude to the President of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo, for selecting Ekumfi OTUAM as a beneficiary of the fishing ports and landing site projects.
Enti onyimampina akasem waja tumde. Yebe yiska nyebe chimebien. Yaye landing site ku Ekumfi. Yaye landing site ku Suwosu.
The Transport Minister, Kweku Furiyesiama, introduced the engineers from Czech who have been contracted to construct the fish landing site in OTUAM to the traditional authorities and members of the community and encouraged the local people and the community to live in harmony with the contractors to ensure speedy execution of the project.
Because it's a muyish and manoko a big crack. No munyaka, no muya jumano. Sam Renuswa, Miss Ramo, Muno Mun Transit, no more papa so. Because Samuno Munya Bajum Kroma, a Jumanaba contempt.
The members of the OTUAM Traditional Authority called for unity among the people to ensure that the project is successfully executed for the benefit of the community. The Deputy Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development and Member of Parliament for Ekumfi constituency, Kingsley Francis Atukujo, assured the fishing community of the government's commitment to develop the fisheries sector for national economic development. OTUAM, which is located in the Ekumfi district of the central region of Ghana and well known as the hometown of the former and late President Professor John Evans Atta Mills, becomes the 12th community selected by government to construct the fishing ports and landing sites, with the other initial 11 being Axim and Diskov in the western region, Maury, Mountford, Winneba, Senyabreku, Gomoafete, and Elmina in the central region, Teshi and Jamestown in the Greater Accra region, and Keta in the Volta region.
Welcome back to the studio. Now, the Center for Maritime Law and Security has revealed some disturbing trends when it comes to piracy within the Gulf of Guinea. My guest in the studio is Naval Captain retired Kamaldeen Ali, and he's also a doctor. Dr. Kamaldeen, good to have you in the studio.
Thank you
Welcome.
very much. Yeah.
Let me begin by asking you the nature, when people talk about piracy, what at all is it?
I think I will speak about piracy from what it is in its practical manifestation. I say this because there are some legal nuances of what constitutes piracy, which may be relevant, or which is relevant for having a fuller understanding of what piracy is, and also relevant for law enforcement. But for all practical and purposes, what is important is to know the manifestation of it. Piracy is not a new thing. It's been one of the organized crimes that have existed for a very long time in historical times up to now. But it is also significant that piracy is so much a threat to the international community and to countries, and consequently its impacts on people is so much so that it is also one of the 4 most important crimes globally. You have piracy sharing the category of crimes against humanity, war crimes, genocide, and then piracy. So given that you know how you will conceive of genocide to be, and how you conceive of crimes against humanity to be, and war crimes. So if piracy shared the same category of these 4 crimes as 4 most important global crimes, it tells you how important piracy is. It is manifested by persons attacking vessels, boats, and other watercraft at sea, and either seizing the cargo, diverting the cargo, stealing the cargo, or kidnapping persons, the crew members, for any purpose, including ransom. So basically, you can also conceive piracy as robbery at sea.
Okay.
We have robbery on land, and when robbery is conducted, it is aimed at stealing. It is very violent. Weapons are used. That's what distinguishes robbery and stealing. People may die. It can lead to death. It can lead to death and a high level of violence, and things are stolen. So, and as human beings and as people, we pay so much attention to robbery because of its nature and its consequences. So that is what it is. But you can then imagine that in the case of piracy, you have one vessel at sea who has no neighbors. The neighbor of that vessel may be another 3-4 kilometers away, and that vessel becomes so vulnerable to attack. And the fact that vessels do not have immediate neighbors, or do not, and I'm using that in a context, also means that they are much more vulnerable when they are being attacked. If you were being attacked by robbers on land, you may want to count on your neighbors, you may want to count on the police to intervene, and you may want to count on other sources of help. This is not what you can get in the case of piracy. So that is what it is. And in the context of the Gulf of Guinea and our west coast here, we've had piracy growing since 2005. And from what I call parasitic piracy, that is piracy that existed alongside other criminality, piracy incubated and matured by 2010. So since 2010, we've had a full-fledged case of piracy across the Gulf of Guinea. In Ghana, we have experienced a number of piracy attacks in our own waters, and that has been it.
Okay, so I'll bring you to Ghana, and then we'll take a look at the Gulf of Guinea entirely. But before then, so what are some other crimes that happen at sea aside piracy?
Many other
so that we don't.
Yes.
We just want to be able to decipher what is what.
Other crimes can happen at sea. For example, you can have what we call illegal transfer or
bunkering,
illegal, which we may call STS. It can happen at sea. Laws of countries prevent people from exchanging goods at sea without certain supervision or without meeting certain protocol. So this can happen.
So that is ship-to-ship transfer of goods whilst at sea.
At sea. Okay. Yeah, so that is one illegality that can happen at sea. Vessels may empty their bunkers or, if you want, waste into their bilges or waste into water, and that is illegal. It can pollute the water. It can affect the ecosystem. So that is another form of illegal activity that can take place at sea. It is equally possible at sea that you can have what we call internal hijacking of a vessel. That may not necessarily be piracy. For example, members of crew of a vessel can riot. They can riot and take over a vessel. So that could also be a criminality at sea, and it is important to distinguish this from the clear case of piracy where the attack is external.
Exactly, that's what I really wanted us to get. But to what extent can piracy itself also be influenced by some of these activities that you talk about? So if you have illegal ship-to-ship transfer of cargo, for instance, can this attract pirates? If you have illegal transfer or bunkering, transfer of oil, fuel from one vessel to the other, for instance, at sea, can that also attract piracy? Can some of those illegal activities attract pirates?
Yes, they can. One thing about criminal activities is that when there is criminal activities, one can always influence the other. And normally, it makes the ground fertile for other criminality to manifest and then to take place. If you specifically on the case of illegal bunkering, it does in such a way that there are two ways. First of all, when a vessel is engaged in bunkering, the vessel become vulnerable and then can become a source of piracy attack. It becomes vulnerable because it is stationed, it is not mobile, and to disengage, it will take quite a long time. So that vessel is a stationary vessel. It becomes vulnerable and can be susceptible to piracy attack. So that is it. But also, that illegality, certain times, that activity that is taking place may be an illegal activity. Apart from it being illegal in the sense that it is not permitted by law, it is also possible that that is stolen oil that is also being transferred. And because it is stolen oil, there may be a web of criminality around it. Other people may want to share in the booty of the stolen oil. And for that matter, they will then send people to also hijack the vessel. We've had a lot of cases like that in our waters, especially between 2010 to up to about 2008, up to about 2014. You had a number of cases in our waters where it wasn't a typical case of piracy. These were illegal oil that is being taken, and other people want to share in the booty, and you then have these counter robberies and attacks at sea, which manifest also as piracy.
Okay, so now the reason I asked, that particular question again is for us to be able to look at what are some of the things that are being done to contribute to the rise or the increasing rates of piracy we have within the Gulf of Guinea. If it is the case that within the Gulf of Guinea itself, we are engaging a lot in some of these illegal activities, that is also giving room for the rise in that. So we'll delve deeper into what we're also doing to contribute to some of these things. Now, give me a picture of Ghana. People think that piracy is way up there. Quite often in our international news, when we air them, most of the piracy attacks, we hear them from Nigeria or further, the closest it comes around Benin and all of that, or Cameroon. In Ghana, what's the situation? Or within the Ghanaian waters?
Yeah. Within the Ghanaian waters, we haven't had endemic piracy as compared to what you find in other countries. For example, we know the typical case of Nigeria. We also know that Nigeria piracy has spread across the sub-region. Be it as it may, we've also had significant cases in Ghanaian waters. I think one of the things also is that in Ghana, we don't really like speaking. I think almost every country don't like speaking about even the slightest black spots, you know, about themselves, you know. So we always speak as if, you know, we've been so much clean and nothing has happened. It may well be that we may not be the source of piracy, but the fact that piracy has occurred in our waters is significant. You do remember somewhere in 2015, thereabout, in 2015, we had 3 significant attacks in the months of June, July. 3 significant attacks. It took place within a period of either 2 or 3 weeks. And that was significant.
In the month of July when?
The months of June, July 2015.
Yes.
Yes, so we had 3 significant attacks.
In fact, it was around 2015 that we had these footages that you are seeing on the screens.
Yes.
Some folks that were nabbed by the security agencies, and who had quite a number of ammunitions on them.
Yes. So fast forward from this attack that involved I think MV Atames and some other vessels in 2015, June, July. Into 2016, we had the NV Mariam case. The Mariam case was where the Ghanaian Navy ended up arresting 8 pirates.
Was it not the fishing one? Or that wasn't the fishing vessel?
No.
The
no.
Mariam, okay.
Yeah, the Mariam was an oil tanker. Yeah, it was an oil tanker. And then the Ghanaian Navy ended up, but the Mariam attack really didn't take place in Ghanaian waters, except that the vessel transited into Ghanaian waters. But what is also significant about the Mariam case is that there was also another vessel that was in Ghanaian ports that was in communication with the Mariam. Of course, aiming to take the oil cargo, although the oil had already been sold actually. But that is a significant aspect. It may well be that this vessel that was in Ghanaian port is not really part of the original crime, but also wanted to benefit from the crime, because it's possible that the oil was being sold at a much lower price. Going back to the same point that you mentioned, that other things that are done that aid piracy. So, but that is significant.
So there are always accessories, or there are quite often accessories.
Yes, there are accessories, either accessories intentional or unintentional. Yes, but yes. So that was the Mariam case. And of course, the Mariam case was where we kept the pirates for close to a year, and we could not try them because of a serious legal deficit that we have, a lacuna in our law, and we transferred them to Nigeria. Then in 2017 or 18 March, we also had the multiple attacks off our port, involving 3 successive vessels, and then I think one was Constantinos, then it moved from there to Invictus, and from Invictus, a captain was kidnapped, and it transferred to the Marine 7111. So the Marine 711 became the known phase of the March 24th, 25th, or the March 28th attacks that took place. But this was significant also because it happened just in our waters, off our port, that 3 successive vessels were taken within our anchorages. And no, not all the 3 of them. One was very close in our port. I think that was Constantinos. Yes, Invictus was a bit off, and the Marine 711 was a bit off. But all this happened within the immediacy of our waters in terms of the territorial water, which is very significant. Again, it shows that we're really not far away from this piracy. I think more recently, there have also been indications of suspicious approaches in our waters, and at times you don't know fully whether it is the captain that misreported actually or the incidents happened. But I think we need to pay much attention to that. And more recently, just a few weeks ago, I think on 28th of August, then we have the AP3 incident. The AP3 incident, that is a tuna fishing vessel that was taken just in our waters off Keta by pirates. And within the same time, there was also a suspicious approach by pirates on another vessel.
We heard about that. Was that confirmed by the Navy?
Yes, it was confirmed. They actually kidnapped 2 crew members who are Koreans again. In the AP 703, and they are still under kidnapped for purposes of ransom. So, and that is just on the 28th of August. So, yes, we are part of it, and that is one of the significant development in 2008. That piracy has actually spread across the sub-region as a result of a number of factors. So, in 2008, just midway 2008, we've had more incidents across the sub-region than we've ever had. So cumulatively in 2008, many more countries have experienced piracy than we've never had, which is one of the worrying trends in 2020.
Okay.
And that is what we call the spread of the piracy in 2020. That's one of the new trends that we have. Among the about 8 trends, this is one of the significant trends that we have seen in 2020.
Okay. Now, again, like I said, I'll get into the Gulf of Guinea, the bigger picture, and look at all the trends, the about 8 trends that we're talking about. But in the Ghanaian space, when we witness these pirates attacks or the incidents of piracy, who are involved? What are the components? Quite often people feel that these are not Ghanaian can't be part of such an event. Who are the people who get involved? Are these foreigners, and from where? Are they Europeans, Americans? Are they Africans? Are Ghanaians part of them? So let's look at the recent one and then backward to 2015 where we had Artemis.
It is not too much clear in the AP 703, but the AP 703 gives us a warning indication.
Just give us a picture of
yes.
what you are referring to when you say AP 703.
Yes, that's the name of the vessel. Yeah. So that's the name of the tuna vessel. So the AP 703, 28th August, the 28th August attack. Okay. It's a tuna vessel. And not all the information is still available, but it gives us a warning trend. It gives a warning trend because it's happened, as I said, off Qatar, and it is not clear who were involved. But there also seem to be some indication of...
but they were arrested?
Yes, you say?
They were arrested? Were they arrested?
No, they had kidnapped. They kidnapped. They weren't in arrest.
Okay.
They kidnapped. It was a successful case of piracy.
Kidnap,
yes, they kidnapped the 2 Koreans and they sent them to possible Niger Delta. That's the place that they will send them to for ransom to be negotiated. But the worrying thing is that is it possible that there may be some connections with locals, 703? Yeah. Is it possible? It is not too clear, but it gives us a worrying trend to analyze, and that is one of the things that we have to look at. In an earlier attack that took place also off in Côte d'Ivoire, I think that involved the Halofin. The Halofin is a fishing Chinese vessel. It took place in Côte d'Ivoire. Again, it's not too clear, but snippets of information from the Nigerian sources seem to suggest that the pirates indicated that they originally intended to attack. In that case, there has been an arrest, and the people are under investigation or trial in Nigeria. But it seems to suggest that they say they had originally intended attacking some vessel off Ghana and had actually come into Ghana.
But were not successful.
Yeah, but were not successful and left. Okay. So, but these were Nigerians. So again, it gives us a worrying trend for us to investigate more. Beyond this, I think what is needed is to unravel what are the layers behind this than anything that I can speak specifically to in terms of the direct connection with Ghana. Okay,
because one of the recent ones, there was one that there was reported some way, somehow, that one of the men were speaking local Ghanaian language, Fanti, for instance. Yeah. Which of them is that, if you recall? And that wasn't also clear whether indeed it was true or not, but it was heard that some were speaking local
Ghanaian I don't recall the full detail, but I did hear that as well.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay, I'm asking, again, getting all these details because people assume that this is so far away from us. That's why I want us to bring it home. Now, give us a picture of when we say the Gulf of Guinea, where does it encompass? Which countries are involved? And where is piracy typically rampant?
For all practical purposes now, when we speak of the Gulf of Guinea, we're talking of the larger region from all the way Angola to Senegal. Although when we talk about the geographic Gulf, it is much more a smaller area because a Gulf is supposed to be a Gulf. But politically, the countries in the sub-region have redefined what they call the Gulf of Guinea because they came together under an arrangement, and they call it, the arrangement is known as an arrangement under the Gulf of Guinea. And to the extent that that has happened, then you have Gulf of Guinea now spreading from all the way Central Africa, Angola to Senegal. But strictly speaking, the geographic Gulf of Guinea, or the narrow Gulf of Guinea, is from Côte d'Ivoire to somewhere Cameroon at best. So that is where the Gulf is. And if you are asking the center or the epicenter of Gulf of Guinea piracy is Nigeria. Somewhere in 2008, there were, in my classification, the primary piracy enclave and then the secondary piracy enclave. There was the secondary piracy enclave of Guinea. But since then, the Guinean piracy have largely died down, and what you have as the center, the pivot of Gulf of Guinea piracy is Nigeria. Of course, and these are also connected to the Niger Delta insurgency and the connections of transnational organized crime that are a fallout of the Niger Delta insurgency, and you now have them attacking vessels and taking vessels. But they are able to operate and across the sub-region. They operate in their immediate waters of Togo and Benin, across to Cameroon, but have gone far as Angola. So, but that is, the Niger Delta is the centerpiece of Gulf of Guinea piracy. So all vessels that have been hijacked, generally, if it's an STS, then it will take place. If it's intended to steal cargo, then the cargo would have been stolen and transferred at sea. But if they are a kidnapping case, mostly all the vessels that have been attacked are moved towards Nigeria. The people are kidnapped. The vessel is abandoned with the rest of the crew, and the people are taken to the Niger Delta crates. They are kept there for weeks, months, depending on how the negotiation takes place, and then the ransom is taken and they are released somewhere in Nigeria, Calabar typically, or somewhere else. So this shows that that the epicenter of Gulf of Guinea piracy, even in 2020, remains Nigeria, even if there are other connections that we need to explore and explain. Okay,
and when we realize that the epicenter is within the Nigerian waters, what would then be the ripple effect on the other waters that are considerably secured, that are seem to be considerably secured? So if you take, we've heard of a lot of the notions or assumptions that because the Ghanaian waters is quite safe, relatively, among the waters within the region, we find a lot of vessels sometimes even taking their time and doing their stuff and berthing around anchorages, just relaxing because they can't go towards the Nigerian waters. They are risky, they fear that they will be attacked and all of that. Give us a sense or picture of the ripple effect if you have the Nigeria being epicenter, and is that close to us in terms of nautical miles?
Yes, the effects are many. First and foremost, vessels do not just leave and go to one country. They call on other ports. So significantly, if there's a risk, it's a shared risk, even if the risk is not coming from Ghana. It has implications for the insurance, for crew pay and everything. And that becomes a shared risk by everybody, because that vessel that's left Rotterdam or somewhere is coming just not to Nigeria, it is coming to Ghana. And
it transits
other countries and may call into the port of other countries. And because of that, it becomes a shared risk, although it is in Nigeria. And the point that you have explained is also significant. Because of the endemic case of piracy in Nigeria, then you may not have vessels that are supposed to be waiting will not be waiting in Nigeria. They would have otherwise done what they need to do in the port of Lagos or somewhere, and then they will leave and then go and stay off either in Togo, Benin, or in Ghanaian waters. And when it is necessary for them to call back into port, then they can call back into port. So it means that you can have congestion or vessels that are in waiting within the neighboring waters, and that is the typical case that you mentioned, that in the case of Ghana, you have some vessels that are within our waters and they are just waiting maybe to go back to Nigeria or to go back to Benin because of the risks in those waters. They stay out of those places.
In terms of general shipping business, if you have endemic situation of piracy, how does that affect shipping? Are shipping lines encouraged? To what extent are shipping lines encouraged or otherwise discouraged from coming to your area? And can that affect traffic, for instance?
Yeah, it does. It does in many ways. First and foremost, some vessels will never take the risk to come into the area. So it means you are having limited vessels available to carry shipment to that area. And if that is the case,
even when import requires a lot of ships to come.
Yes, even when imports require quite a lot of ships. So some ships will not put to that route, so they will not do that. And because they will not put you that route, what it means is that you have limited vessels available that are willing to come. It also means that goods and services, import of goods and services are going to delay. It also means that there are fewer vessels, and it means that prices are going to go up. So that is one dimension. I mean, the price, the freight is going to go up. So that's one dimension. Added to that layer is the insurance, because you have to take an insurance to cover. In the Gulf of Guinea, they continue to take what we call war risk insurance. So the insurance that vessels take to come into our waters is as if the same insurance that you would take if you were going to a region where there is war. For example, if there is war between two countries and the risk is very high and you are going there as a vessel, you need to take insurance, and that is the highest insurance. That is called a war risk insurance. And because of the endemic nature of piracy in our waters, vessels coming will have to take the same war risk insurance. So it means they are paying very high level of premium, and that is then passed on to the shipper or the importer, and that is passed on to the consumer. Apart from insurance for the vessel, there's also insurance for the crew. And if you look at the number of crew members, and each of them is given a high level of insurance, then again that translates into cost of business. Also the pay of crew. So when crew are operating in these waters, you have to compensate them for the risk. And because you compensate them for the risk, it translates into the cost of business. Finally, you can look at the preparation that is done by the vessel. The vessel will have to take a whole lot of security measures, and including special design, special equipments on board, which may or may not be used. But these are meant to ward off piracy, water holes, hot water holes, and other things. So again, this translates into the cost of business for the vessel, and this translates into the cost of business for our country, for our region, and ultimately to the individual.
From where you said, are you then saying that we are likely, as a people from this side of the world, to be paying high freight rates because of this nature of activity that is endemic within our zone?
Yes.
And is that the picture?
It has a picture. It adds up to that.
Is freight within our space much expensive than other places because of these insurance costs and all of that?
Yes, because of that addition. Historical freight has always been is higher to us, just as in many areas. One of the irony is that between the North and the South is that the South ends up paying so much for things that have become so much cheap, in the North, and I mean the global North and the global South. And originally, yeah, so significantly we pay higher, and we are even paying much higher now because of the incidence of piracy in our waters.
Okay, because I'm giving this picture again because quite a number of people, now some time back in Brazil, there was an argument that, oh, you go to Angola, for instance, which is a Portuguese-speaking country, and things are extremely expensive, but it's an African country. Some have compared Accra to some cities elsewhere, Western nations, and say that we are very expensive. Some jug or mug that you would buy for 99 cents elsewhere may sometimes cost you about 200 Ghana cedis here. And people don't understand. And you're saying that this can be as a result of the fact that we have some unsecured space and makes insurance of freight expensive, and therefore it can be transferred on to the consumer eventually.
Yes, there are different layers of that. Generally speaking, yes, it relates to the cost. Although I also take the view that in Ghana we are just expensive. We are.
You also see that.
Yeah, we are morally expensive. Yeah, we are immoral when it comes to cost of things at times. Yeah, we make money out of rape of people in terms of the way we do business in our country. You can even compare us to neighboring countries of Cote d'Ivoire and Benin. So although some of these problems are there, we are just generally used to making money out of people, and that is one of the reasons we are cost. But this is also a factor that we cannot run away from.
Okay, now let's look at the other, as much as possible, I'm bringing it down to the regular people. What about somebody doing regular business? You have a vessel that was bringing a cargo. It's been attacked somewhere else. It might not even be necessarily been the waters of Ghana. You were supposed to deliver these goods to a certain client who is expecting it. Now you're not able to deliver that good because it was attacked on sea. How is this whole piracy affect issues of contractual obligations down there to the regular person? It could be just somebody like me expecting some formatic Mercedes-Benz from someone. The vessel was attacked. I don't have my car again. I'm holding the one who was supposed to bring it responsible. And he says, your vessel was attacked by pirates. How are we able to meet some of these consideration demands between parties when it comes to contracts with the presence of heavy and endemic piracy that we have within our waters?
Yeah. Yes, let me put on record that I like Ben's car, and as a retired officer, when you get the formatic, get me one as well. get me one as well, because I'm a retired officer, so get me one as well. Yes, but it does affect the contractual relationship, because once there is such an incident, it leads to a whole case of investigation. So an incident of attack on a vessel. Just imagine that a vessel is attacked and the captain and the first mate are taken, say, off somewhere in Sierra Leone, and the vessel is supposed to be coming to Ghana. They need a whole crew change, because in any case, the vessel is no longer eligible to sail, but it doesn't have the person who is supposed to move it. Let's take it that, let's take an articulated truck. I just want to make it simple. That is supposed to be moving from Accra to Hamley, and then somewhere at Suhum or somewhere, robbers attack them, and then the driver of the articulated truck is taken away. That articulated truck can no longer move literally, because the mate or the assistant person cannot move it. And even if the person can move it, the person don't have the requisite qualification to be able to move it. So you can literally understand in the case of vessel that an attack will mean that if the captain and the first mate, that is the next person in command, are taken away, then practically it means that that vessel is not even eligible to sail again. In other words, it has become somehow unseaworthy. It cannot move again because those critical crew are not there. Then it means that they will have to spend time for them to change crew and to bring other people to it. This could take about 3 months for that to happen, for them to, or a month or two, because they have to look for somebody to come back, fly the person into Ghana or somewhere, find a boat to move this first mate, this captain, new captain, and the second mate to go and take over the vessel, or they have to hire a local captain somewhere in our waters to go and bring the vessel. Then there could be a whole period of investigation, insurance issues, and it could delay the whole movement of this vessel, just not for weeks, but for months. So this is how practically that you can have your formatic, which I'll be waiting to sit in. They are not coming as early as we expect it, and then you will not have the chance to buy me a second one.
Now I know, Doc. I know why you don't like my small car here. It's not your taste. But you see, I, as much as possible, like to bring it down to the regular folks. So it's not as if that this is too far away from the businessman at Abosswaka.
Not at all.
If a vessel is attacked, you can be affected.
Very well.
And it can come way down there.
Very well so. You can just be waiting for your cargo, and that cargo never comes. Those spare parts are delaying for months, for weeks. Your dollar you have borrowed to bring them in is increasing. You have already consigned them to people who are expecting to take them, and they are there at your shop every day asking for the goods that are never coming. And your bank loan is increasing. Yes, it has all those really, really important day-to-day effects. And so this is why it's just not, piracy is just not something that affects a vessel. It's something that affects business. It's something that affects livelihood. It's something that affects everything. It could be that this vessel is carrying critical supplies, which could be health, needs of a country, and it is taken. So it has all those very fundamental day-to-day, human-related issues. That is how it is.
Now that we have built to that point, let's come to, and brought it all the way down to the regular. Let's now come to your document, your material, for instance, that you have released. I read it and noticed that for the overview of the year 2020, for instance, you admitted that there's relatively reduced numbers. For instance, I think the 2020 is supposed to be 81 cases, incidents, and then 2019 was 86 cases. However, 2018, I think, was way higher. I think 89 thereabout or so. So if from 2019 we saw a reduction to from 2018 we saw a reduction to 2019, and from 2019 we saw a reduction from 86 to 81, why are we saying we should be worried? Can we begin to pat ourselves more that at least we are seeing a reduction?
Not at all, not at all. So what we're doing is that because we're releasing this report in August, we're analyzing the same period of 2018 and 2019, which is January to August of the same period. And as you said, for the period of 2019 compared to 2020, January to August, we've had a reduced number of incidents, 5 less incidents as compared to the number in 2019. But there are significant worrying trends. What are some of these worrying trends? I've already alluded to one, the spread of attacks, that we've had many more countries that have experienced piracy attack in the same period as compared to the previous year. You have piracy footprints. It has occurred in Equatorial Guinea, a number of cases in Equatorial Guinea. Of course, quite a number in Nigerian waters, quite a number in DR Congo, quite a number has occurred in Cameroon, quite a number have occurred in Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, and then Ghana falling in within the same period. So this is very significant that we have more countries that have experienced piracy. The second is that pirates have been able to take vessels further and further into the sea. On the average, when you look at 2018, piracy occurred within about 50 nautical miles on the average. In 2019, it occurred around 65 on the average. In this year, it has occurred almost on the average of about 120 nautical miles. Some vessels were approached or either taken as far as 200, 250 nautical miles, and successful. In a classic case, there was a successful hijacking of a vessel 224 nautical miles. So that is deeper into the sea. So the range of attacks have also increased. Okay. The range at which the pirates have been able to take vessels. And that is significant because we must then start to understand what is happening, because these pirates are using smaller speedboats. And classically, when pirates are able to take vessels deeper into the sea, they do that with the help of what we call a mothership or a sister ship. But in this particular case, we haven't had that. The pirates have been able to redesign their operation in such a way that they use a number of speedboats that reinforce each other, some carrying their supplies or some carrying their logistics, and they are able to target and take vessels that deeper. But partly also because Nigerian Navy has also been very significant in their waters, and because of that, the pirates are operating further than the area of operation of the Nigerian Navy. So this is another worrying trend, that on the average, vessels are taking deeper and deeper into the waters. Then there is a third worrying trend, which is mass kidnapping. In 2020, for the whole of 2019, we've had about 90-something cases of piracy, at most 100. Just by August this year, a number of kidnapping. By August this year, we are almost getting to 100. So we've had cases of mass kidnapping, where in certain cases, 10 people are kidnapped, 8 people are kidnapped, 12 people are kidnapped. So we've also had cases of mass kidnapping in 2020, and that is another worrying trend, that many more people are kidnapped, which means that shipping crew are open to greater risk. And of course, the consequences is also that the shipping industry, and which comes to the ordinary person again, is paying so much, because you could pay $1 million for a ransom that is negotiated for people to be released. So this mass kidnapping is one of the significant things that we have also seen in 2020. Then we have what we call the target variability. The target variability here, our report is referring to the fact that many more vessels are taken. And indeed, many more fishing vessels have become the source or target of attack in 2020. And in the case of Ghana, either some vessels that are flagged, fishing vessels were either taken in Ghanaian waters, as in the case of the AP-703, or a Ghanaian flagged vessel like the Panofi, which is a Ghanaian vessel, was taken off somewhere in Cote d'Ivoire. So many more fishing vessels have also been taken in 2020. So these are some of the worrying trends that we are seeing in 2020 as compared to the previous years. And that is the more reason that it is important for the global community, the region and countries to be concerned with the new trends that we have seen in 2020. And it also raises questions as to, of course, whether we are winning or the pirates are winning. Because the pirates are able to operate further into the sea, they are able to increase their range, and they're also able to undertake classic attacks. The time duration within which an attack is conducted is becoming shorter, it's becoming smarter, it's becoming swift, and this is another dimension in 2020. So these are all some of the dimensions in 2020 that makes it a worrying situation for the business community, for the countries, for the global community to be concerned.
I see. Let me just announce the WhatsApp lines that you can share your thoughts with us if you're interested in the subject. It's 0559 055-901-9177. It's on your screens there, 055-901-9177. The number that you can call is 020-528-353 if you want to share your thoughts on the subject with us. 020-552-8353. The number to call 055-901-9177. The number that you can share your thoughts on. But look, so which people are we dealing with? When we say that pirates, is it an organized national crime? Is it an organized individual? Is it some cartel? Who are these people? And because of the, and I want to know, because of the level of equipment, logistics they have, if they have vessels or boats that are faster than some of our Navy institutions and all of our security institutions, who are we dealing with?
We're dealing with very organized people. We're dealing with very organized crime, much as we deal with organized crime in the case of drug trafficking, in the case of terrorism, in the case of human trafficking. We are dealing with very, very organized crime and very sophisticated.
Yes, are they backed by government sometimes?
Not really that there's an indication.
You haven't had a report to that effect?
No, but it may well be that they operate on the ineffective side of government. They exploit the ineffectiveness of government to sustain their operation, you know. So which
now, as that because in certain jurisdictions we had heard in some of the Southern American countries that there have been times that governments have backed drug trafficking and things like that. That's why I came down to that.
Yes, not that level here. But in terms of platform, yes, you have them using speedboats and which are very faster than any Navy boat that you can think of in the sub-region. Then going to how organized they are, where cargo is stolen, oil cargo, they would have had a vessel that is waiting to take the cargo. They would have had people who are sophisticated in undertaking that STS, that transfer of oil, so people who are very skilled. They have the skill of being able to take a vessel that is in motion, a vessel that is underway. They can board that vessel, so it shows how skillful they are. They are very determined people. Now, when it comes to the case of kidnapping for ransom, and that's what one of the indications that one of our reports showed, that with the increasing case of mass kidnapping and kidnapping for ransom, the business model of piracy is increasing in the sub-region. What it means is that to undertake ransom kidnapping as a pirate, you need many more layers than you will need when it comes to cargo. In the case of cargo, you need a vessel. The vessel will take the cargo. Then the cargo can then be misrepresented and sold to other vessels or sold at sea as a legitimate cargo. Then it comes to Ghana or it goes to Togo or Benin. But in the case of ransom kidnapping, when you take the person and you have to transport the person all the way to Nigeria, and then you are keeping the person. And what we have heard and the signals we are picking is that when these guys kidnap people and they just get to Nigeria and they leave them, other people take over. A whole sophisticated team, is
take over from there.
Take over from there. Originally, such people were abused and manhandled. What we are hearing now is that some of them are actually being kept in very, very comfortable places of high-level accommodations that they are being kept.
It's more reason why we want to know who is behind.
Yes, so and there's a whole net of people that are in charge, keeping them, moving them from one place to the other. For example, moving somebody from, say, Novotel Hotel to Kempinski Hotel to, Trasaco area.
And national intelligence are not able to pick
all lot of facilities, and they are moving them. Meanwhile, there are people that are involved in negotiating the ransom, from the pirate side. And then by this time, the the vessel would have also appointed people through whom they will negotiate. And some people will have to receive the money, move the money, keep the money somewhere. So a whole number of people are involved, and the layers are more sophisticated. So it is an organized crime, and that's and in the context of ransom kidnapping, the layers are even more sophisticated. But if you looked at it in terms of the returns are very high. Well, if you went to sea and you kidnapped 2 people and then you brought them, or 3 or 4 people, and from that operation you can make $1 million, it is worth it. So a lot of investment is going on into the piracy enterprise, and a lot of actors are involved in this particular case, especially in 2020. Because of the mass kidnapping, because of the kidnapping for ransom, there are many more people that are involved in them. Some are legitimate people. For example, they may be professionals that are hired by a shipping company to negotiate the ransom, or to carry the ransom. But some are also people that are directly connected to the crime.
Interesting. So what can we do to nip this in the bud? Is it possible? Can we handle it? Can governments of these countries within the region, the Gulf of Guinea region, be able to handle this? Are security agencies tackling them well enough? Now, fortunately, you are a retired Navy commander. Navy captain. What is happening within the Navy fraternity in terms of tackling these crimes that we're seeing?
Yes, as always, at times as if we speak on the same thing for long, but the truth is that the fundamentals are the same thing that you have to handle, and you can repeat them many, many times, but it's the same points that we'll have to go back to again. And as long as we are not doing them, or we are doing them but not efficiently, or we are trying to be efficient but the pirates are winning over us, then we still will have to go over those issues. We need to have a better understanding of the piracy profile, a better understanding. I think one of the,
get that?
Yes, we can get that.
How do we do that?
We need to pay much attention to understanding what is happening in Nigeria in terms of the piracy network and how they are operating. Yes, it's a bit of a close thing, but I also think that we haven't really paid much attention to.
When you say we, you mean Ghana, or the Gulf of Guinea?
If we take Ghana,
so Ghana as a country, we haven't paid attention to
much attention to understanding the criminal networks in Nigeria in terms of analyzing them, how they are operating, deploying our intelligence networks to do that. We do that in other areas, so we can do that to have a better understanding of what is happening.
What institution should be able to make this happen?
Oh, the country knows. Yeah,
the country.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the intelligence apparatus. Yeah, they are always. Yeah, the country knows. Yeah, how those things, or information gathering apparatus. They know how they work. So we need to have a better understanding of that, and then to be able to drill down, and know how these things are. We need to, as a country, work a bit more with our coastal communities, and in roping them into this discourse. You see, the greater visibility we have at sea is not the Navy, is the coastal communities. Yeah, they send hundreds of vessels to the sea every day, canoes every day. Every day. Yeah, and they go around our waters and they come back. The Navy can never be able to have that sea presence, not even 10% or 5% of the coastal community. So we need to be able to rope them into this dialogue and to have a greater discourse with them, so that we are able to know what they see and report to us what they see.
Do you see that happen? Do you see, for instance, Navy and the fisher folk around, say, Tema Newtown or TAKORADI Fishing Harbour, do you see that connection
Yes, that connection has to be done. It has to be deepened. It has existed in certain times, but it has to be deepened.
Okay.
But it goes beyond the Navy. It goes to other agencies as well. That are supposed
I'll
to
come
work
to
with
you,
that.
but we've got a caller on the line. Okay, I think we lost that line, but let me read this one. It says, ship-to-ship transfer does present vulnerability because of low speed and restriction in ability to maneuver. Investigations from the last attack on AP 703 indicate nationalities of personnel are Nigerians and possibly Ghanaians and Cameroonians. It's coming from an officer. So I'll just spare the name, but it's a naval officer. That's one. Hello, I'd like to know whether a vessel crew are allowed to carry missiles, other arms and ammunition for defense against pirates. I heard about the hot water cannons, the cannons for defending the vessels, but I don't think it's enough protection against attacks. Kind regards. This is Pierre. So, oh, okay, is that Pierre? Okay, Pierre, good to read your message again, and was nice seeing you in the course of the week at the fishing harbor. So, first of all, what do you make for the submission from the officer and then Pierre?
Yes, I think I have also heard that, and then if that is also being said, that these are the indications. You know, it may never be full, but you know, the crew members, you know, those that were not kidnapped, seem to have drawn accents, you know, and from different nationalities, and this is what they are seeing, and this is what is important for us to drill down more and to have a better understanding. So I've also heard what the officer said in terms of what they think were the profile of the people that were involved in the AP 703 attack. And if you, and in the case of the other question from Pierre, yes, it's a very risky thing because crew members are not professionals in handling weapons. And they are just basic fisher, they are basic crew. That is just their profession. It's like all of us. We don't expect us to be moving, a banker to move into the bank and then go to the bank and will be the person that will have a gun to be able to protect his business in the bank. So all of us go to our business places expecting that we'll be protected. This is the best way. This is the best scenario. And you can never have crew members being able to defend themselves because in any case, the firepower that the pirates will come with will overpower them. It's much higher. In fact, the pirates have been able to have a shootout with Nigerian Navy and kill them. This year we've had shootout. Wow. We have had shootout in one instance where they killed, I think, 3 or 4 Nigerian Navy. It has happened in the past before. So I don't expect...
So they are more equipped than our security forces?
Yes, and they are very, you know, these are ex-combatants in the Niger Delta situation, you know, and and they are daring, you know, in terms of what they want to do. If we take the case of Nigeria, for example, in one of the incidents, an oil barge, they shot and boarded. Yeah. They were able to shoot and board the oil barge. So that is, and Nigerian Navy were involved and they still boarded, you know. They had a shootout. So that is how significant it can be.
We've got a caller on the line. Let me pick that as we... Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Gossen Bilo Klo. My regards to Dr. Kamal Bin. He was my lecturer at the Kofi Annan.
Okay, nice. Look, your student.
Thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I agree with you as far as some measures are concerned whereby the security agency will have to relate with the local community to be able to combat this crime.
Okay, so you want to know what support can be given to the local communities?
Yes,
okay.
And then additionally, if Nigeria is the epicenter as far as piracy is concerned, what is the level of preparedness of Ghana in securing our territorial waters?
Okay, good. Thank you, Godson. Do we have Thomas on the line? No. Okay, so that was Godson. You can respond to him.
Thank you, Godson, and for acknowledging our interaction at Kofi Annan, as you mentioned. I think one of the most fulfilling things to do is to be a teacher, and I think that is what I think I was born to do. I'm not sure what I'm doing that fully.
So
but
still lecture at
yes, I don't lecture there formally since my retirement. Before retirement, I was actually at the Command and Staff College, but I did assist in teaching also at Kofi Annan. But going back to the question that he mentioned, yes, integrating the coastal communities is important, and I think some steps are being taken in that direction now. We need to quicken that step.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me pick Thomas on the line. Hello, Thomas. And again, let me say that the number that you should call is 020-552-8353. I see quite a number of you quite often calling the landline. So this number 024. Please, you can call the actual number. Thomas.
Yes, hello. Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, fine. I'm watching your program, Eye on Port.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right. I work with Marcus, and we are working on cyber security related.
Sorry, Thomas, we have difficulty. We have difficulty in hearing you clearly. If you can speak up a little.
Yeah. I am saying, I'm watching your program.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I'm very interested to make contribution.
Yes, please go ahead and contribute.
Yes. We want to consider cyber security on our ports. Okay, which of course you are not mentioning with your discussions.
I'm not sure. Do we have a techie problem? If we can fix that real quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We work on global cyber security on our oil and gas and also our ports, which of course you are not mentioning.
Okay.
Cyber.
You said cyber security. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. And remember, globally is causing every country so much bigger than what you are talking about.
Okay. You think cybersecurity is also significant?
Yeah, that's right.
Type of crime.
Yeah. You look at a role of technology.
Thank you. I think it's well noted. We'll delve into that subject another time. Unfortunately, for the sake of time, today is purely for piracy. So we would appreciate it, and we do appreciate that. We'll tackle cybersecurity at some other time. With another fellow or resource person. So the number that you can call is 020-552-8353. The number WhatsApp is 0559019177. Roping in the local people seem to be the sort of campaign people are calling.
Yes, for us as a country, we need to do that. And then I think some steps have been taken. We need to deepen that. I think with the recent experience, that is being looked into.
Okay.
Yes.
This one says, has a disputed maritime boundary with Togo got anything to do with increasing piracy around Keta waters? Do you know of any maritime boundary dispute with Togo?
There is an unresolved maritime boundary issue between Ghana and Togo. In other words, Ghana and Togo, we have undemarcated maritime boundary. I wouldn't call it a dispute as of yet. It is unagreed, and there have been attempts at negotiating the maritime boundary, or talks actually between the two countries. A lot of it occurred last year and the year before, but it still remains undemarcated. So I haven't seen any connection to that.
Okay.
Yes, I haven't seen any connection to the piracy.
Are there any particular periods that these pirates attack, or particular timings that they work, so that those at sea would want to be careful if there is that this particular season you are likely to have them?
Yes, when pirates are attacking closer shores, either within Nigerian waters or targeting vessels in the closer shore areas of other countries, they operate mostly in the night. Especially from the hours of around 12 to about 4 a.m. That is when they operate, if they are targeting vessels either within Nigerian waters or within the port and anchorage areas of other countries. So they do that because they can achieve surprise, they can use the darkness to move away, and then they cannot be tracked down. But we've seen in 2020 that because pirates are also attacking vessels further and further into the sea, they are now operating in broad daylight because they know that the ability, the ability for any intervention is very slim. Well, if a piratic vessel, say about 120 or 150 nautical miles or 200 nautical miles, it will take a whole 12-hour, 13-hour sail of a navy to get there. So they are already having their space to operate. So they don't need to to let the timing be significant. And indeed, because they are also moving in that area, daylight is an enabling factor. But that is another trend that we are asking ourselves for the 2020 analysis, that these vessels that are taken further off the shore, were the pirates just involved in random hunting of vessels and came across them, or they had at least some bit of targeting of those vessels? Because if it is happening within closer shores, then you might say that you go hunting and then you come across them, and I'm using the word hunting here, them searching for the vessel. But if it's taking place somewhere 150, 200 nautical miles, is this just a case that they came across, or they were using some form of means of tracking a certain vessel and following the vessel? This is a significant question, again, that we need to explore for the dynamics that we are seeing in 2020.
Okay, this one says, what is the way forward for the Navy as a major maritime security stakeholder in Ghana in combating piracy and other international organized crimes within a maritime domain? So Navy, and probably if we want to expand it together with the Marine Police we have and all of that.
Yeah, the way forward is that is to equip the Navy sufficiently. Yeah, the Navy need more vessels. They need different class of vessels to be able to operate, to be able to have greater presence at sea, to stay at sea for longer, and to be able to undertake the protection of our waters. They need other type of vessels that are not within the Navy fleet now to be able to do that. For most of the vessels that we have now, or the boat that we have now, you'll have to go to sea and start withdrawing or coming back within, say, 3 days at most, or 4 days at most, even if you stayed for that long. Yeah. But you should be able to have the Navy being present at sea for weeks.
I see.
Yeah, 4 weeks. And we need a different class of vessel for the Navy to be able to do that.
And that require a lot of resuscitating,
retooling.
Kofi from Tema agrees with you on that point. He says retooling the Navy in terms of procuring vessels, what will be able to stay longer at sea, like an offshore patrol vessels, is a way to go. The country can consider acquiring drones as well, which can make fighting this menace much easier, and investing in maritime domain aware systems with satellite imagery sensors. This issue of drones, are they that effective?
Yes, they can work. They can also work alongside a vessel that is at sea. So if there's a vessel that is at sea, for example, an OPV that is at sea, offshore patrol vessel that is at sea, you can reinforce with drones that will undertake scouting and come back, or have other boats that are attached to it that will move and come back. I think we shouldn't be shying away from saying that the Navy needs to be distant. Yes, I know politically, politicians will not want to hear that.
But you are out of the domain, so
yes.
You can
So
feel
the
free
truth,
to...
yeah, the truth is that the Navy will have to be yes.
Currently, we are not there.
We are not. We are not. What we have in the Navy fleet is not. It's not what.
How low are we if we compare to what we are seeking to combat?
Oh, yeah, we are low. We are low.
Extremely low.
Yes, if we are looking at what we are seeking to combat, we are low. We need faster vessels, more endured vessels, a different, type of vessels.
So now we are playing.
Yeah, we should be able to put 3-4 vessels to sea, every day.
Which we don't have. What do we have?
Just imagine in this case that the Navy and possibly the Marine Police, if they have anything at a distance down, they can only operate within, the coastal area. The Navy is the only arm that is supposed to be present at sea. So if we cannot even put 4 vessels to sea on a daily basis, that is a serious situation.
And that's the current situation.
Yes, that's the current situation.
We're not able to put like 4 vessels.
It's not.
How many do we have?
I wouldn't say current. It has been the case. It has been the case for some time now. It has been the case for perhaps the last 10 years that we cannot put 4 vessels to sea in the Navy.
So Eric Belgium says, I should ask you, Dr. Kamal, if he has found in the literature on maritime piracy where the pirates has been what the pirates have been interested in rather than the crew members, especially the West African coastal waters jurisdictions. What at all are the pirates interested in?
Oh, they were originally interested. Yeah, they are interested in, of course, they will
the
normally...
cargo or the crew members for ransom?
Yes, they've increasingly moved to crew members. Yes, from 20,
they get a lot of money from that.
Yes, from 2019 to 2020, they've moved to crew members. You know, earlier on, they supplemented that, or actually the oil cargo was the one that was the dominant. But, you know, kidnapping for ransom has become the most dominant. And you get quite a lot of money from that.
I see. And this one says, what are the possibilities that the increasing situations may be orchestrated by bodies who are seeking to create insecurities in these areas for their own personal gains? That's why initially I asked, who are those behind?
Yeah, that can always be investigated, but I really don't think so.
And do we delve into such investigations as a country?
Yeah, there can always be, and we have to be interested in that. We have to be interested in looking at the layers. For example, there's one particular case in Nigeria where a security company has been involved in moving a ransom, allegedly. But Nigerians are asking more questions, you know, that are they just moving ransom, or they were possibly also sponsoring piracy? So these are some of the layers that can be looked
into. Let me pick a call on the line. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
My name is Ofori.
Yes, sir.
Calling from Medina.
Good to have you.
Yes, sir. I'm very happy you are talking of what do you call it?
Piracy.
Pirating and hate issues. Nowadays, if you look at the maritime industry, talking of regional maritime university, a lot of sailors are there, and they are unemployed. I think the government can easily go in for these sailors, train them to be coast guard. Because if you go to the U.S. and the other countries, they have coast guard who normally protect their shores and other things. So this limits the insecurity that we may talk about it. So I think if they employ all these guys who are home and they don't have anything doing, I think that would be better.
Okay. Very nice submission, Ofori from Medina. He feels that we should get a lot of people recruited for some of these purposes. Are we lacking personnel as well?
No, I don't think. You know, historically, the Regional Maritime University has been one of the best institutions for training. I think we really have manpower that we haven't been able to employ.
Okay.
I think there have been recent gains that are coming, but again, you still have too many people who can be employed to be at sea. Luckily for us as a country, not only do we have Regional Maritime University, but although we always also complain the fact that we don't learn other languages. In Ghana, we have the language that is a maritime language, which is English. So our crew members that are trained are, if you want, very needed. Unfortunately, for a number of factors, historical factors and other factors, we haven't actually been able to make the best even out of our crewing. And yes, which other countries have done. You see how dominant it is with the Greeks, with the Indians, with the Filipinos, and where we are now. And we have no reason to be where we are now.
And if we rightly refer to the Coast Guard, so we have the U.S. Coast Guard, which is an area we can be looking at. Now this one says we are low in terms of spares, endurance, and sea worthiness. The Navy's flagship project is to have 2 offshore patrol vessels with heli landing capabilities for sustained presence up to 21 days. Indeed, our neighbors in Ivory Coast are ahead in procurement of OPVs from Israel.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are some of the comments. Additionally, we need a strong political will to win the piracy fight. Are we getting that?
Political will, maybe. We don't have much attention on it. You know, there are always competing things in policy space. You know, and if something is
but priority ought to be given, and we don't. Yes. You don't think we are prioritizing this area, security of our waters?
Priority may seem to suggest that that level of awareness is there, but we are not giving it the attention. It may well be that we haven't really paid attention
the
to
awareness
it,
is also not there.
To even study it carefully, to have its manifestation. Then I can say that we are not giving priority, because priority seems to suggest that we are neglecting it, although we are fully, you know, aware of it. You know, as I said, one of the things though is that as a country, Ghana, we like being said we are good people, you know, we've over years, and we always think that we are good because our neighbors are not good, so we want to be good people. So we are not used to talking about this piracy issue, especially its connection with us. So because of that, we see it as being so distant, as a Nigerian problem, you know, distant from us. I think we have to begin to embrace the dialogue and discuss it, and know that we are just like any other person. You know, we are not an angel. We are not closer to. We are far from being angels.
Let me go for my international news. We'll be back.
Please do.
It has been a month since the port of Beirut faced its worst possible man-made disaster since the Lebanese civil war. But the fear of explosions and fires do not seem to leave the city's citizens alone. On Friday, the port of Beirut woke up to another deadly fire that threatens to cut the lifeblood of the Middle Eastern country, which is foreign humanitarian aid. The blaze broke out was at an aid agency that has been storing food and cooking oil. According to the Red Cross Regional Director, Fabrizio Carboni, the warehouse stocked thousands of food parcels, which is the life support of the Lebanese economy. Ever since a deadly explosion rocked Beirut last month, killing 190 individuals, Lebanon's economy has been heavily dependent on foreign humanitarian aid. This explosion in a food storage warehouse puts the humanitarian operation subjected to serious risk factors. Cruise major Carnival Cruise Line said it is selling 2 more cruise ships to preserve liquidity during COVID-19. The ships in question are Carnival Fascination and Carnival Imagination, which had previously been put on long-term layup status. The company sold the 1990-built Carnival Fantasy and 1996-built Carnival Inspiration for demolition in Turkey in July 2020. Upon return to operations, Carnival Cruise Line will still operate 4 upgraded Fantasy-class ships, which are Carnival Ecstasy, Carnival Sensation, Carnival Elation, and Carnival Paradise. Meanwhile, the company is preparing for a phased resumption of cruise vacations, with specific ships and brands returning to service over time. The world's largest cruise industry trade association, Cruise Lines International Association, has revealed in a new report that the cruise industry has invested over $23.5 billion in ships with new energy-efficient technologies and cleaner fuels. As informed, this is a $1.5 billion increase over the 2019 report findings. While cruise ships comprise far less than 1% of the global maritime community, the latest report produced by Oxford Economics, the 2020 Environmental Technologies and Practices Report, substantiates how cruise lines have taken a leadership role in the adoption of maritime technologies that benefit the entire shipping industry. Back in 2018, CLRA Cruise Lines were the first to publicly commit as a maritime sector to reduce the rate of carbon emissions by 40% by 2030 compared to 2008. International news organization Reuters has reported that Dubai-based port operator DP World has partnered up with an Israeli group, Dover Tower, in plans to jointly bid to privatize Haifa port on the Mediterranean. The deal was signed by Dover Tower head Shlomi Fogel, the co-owner of Israel Shipyards and the Port of Eilat, and DP World chairman Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem. The two companies signed a number of memoranda of understandings on developing trade links, paving the way for the duo to explore opportunities for joint investment in developing trade infrastructure in the two countries and the region. The CEO of Ocean and Logistics at Maersk, Vincent Clerc, has disclosed that over 26,000 people are expected to be affected by Maersk internal reshuffling. Maersk is still determining the exact number of positions that will be made redundant across the impacted locations. The Danish container shipping major has in other reports hinted of plans to integrate the SAF Marine brand into Maersk as part of its transformation into an integrated container transport and logistics company. The total number of employees in the brands are 1,100 for SAF Marine, 2,300 for Damco Freight Forwarding, and 4,500 for Hamburg Süd. The UN is carrying out inspections of vessels on the high seas off the coast of Libya, suspected to be carrying arms or related material, either to or from Libya. The most recent interception took place on a product tanker, the Royal Diamond 7, flying the flag of the Marshall Islands. With a carrying capacity of 13,000 deadweight tonnage, the vessel departed from the port of Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates and was heading to Benghazi in Libya. Intelligence information said that the ship was carrying a cargo of jet fuel that could be used for military purposes. This is as part of efforts to ensure the UN arms embargo on Libya to support the peace process for the country. The new initiative is using aerial, satellite, and maritime assets to identify suspected movements.
Okay, my guest in the studio is Dr. Kamaldeen Ali, retired naval captain. Doc, as we end, just in 10 seconds, what would you like us to take home when it comes to piracy?
To take home that this is a significant threat to the region and to our country. It affects everybody person. We need to take quick measures, including deepening our regional cooperation. And at the national level here in Ghana, we need to look into our Navy. We need to have much collaboration with coastal communities, and then we may be able to be on the way to winning the war.
Dr. Kamaldeen Ali is Executive Director, Center for Maritime Law and Security, that's CEMLAWS, and they have revealed quite some disturbing trends when it comes to piracy in the country. I appreciate your time for watching the program. The executive producers of this program, Mrs. Isi Sudoberg and Mrs. Esther J.B. Donko. Quite a number of people supported the production. Joseph is behind the camera. Joe Lavo was a technical producer, as well as Frank Gomelesio, Bosompra, Henry, Alex. Everybody, thank you for supporting. See you same time next week.